Hello, everyone. Hi, Natalia here from Propy. Welcome, everyone, to our weekly webinar. I know that many of you joined to learn about the latest trends post-COVID-19 and how to deal with the uncertain times, as well as to learn about innovation in the real estate industry. For the new folks here, we're doing these weekly webinars to better connect with the real estate professionals and provide help, inviting the industry leaders. And in the end, we also show the latest updates of Propy products. Obviously, our mission at Propy, just to remind, is to automate the transaction process. And this is what we touch base every single week, how we progress in this mission. Today will be no different, and we are going to find out if selling real estate assets entirely online is possible nowadays. Tony Giordano.
Hello, everybody.
Our guest today. Hello, Tony. We don't see you yet.
There you are.
Oh, here you are. Awesome. So thank you, Tony, so much for joining us today. We will talk about Tony's success on social media. I had a case recently where a broker and his customer reached out to us to help them with exposure, as they have an apartment to sell and they don't have any current exposure. They are failing to sell it during the pandemic time. So exposure is becoming an item, a characteristic of an agent when the seller or the buyer wants to pick up a person to work with. This is why it's so timely to talk about how we are utilizing the current user behavior, the social media that is impacting us. And so we'll be talking about that. We will also discuss the topic of technology in transactions and the current state and the future of real estate with a seasoned background as a top mortgage broker, celebrity real estate realtor, and guest on multiple seasons of Bravo TV's $1 Million Listing. Tony is also founder and president of the Poland agency. And I am so excited to have you, Tony, today with us.
I'm very excited as well.
Yeah, so let's get started. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and what's your story where you discovered the power of social media? And I know it happened very early on.
How long is this meeting?
Yeah, we have only 30 minutes, so I know we need to be brief on this one, and you have a lifelong story for that.
Yeah, that'll be the next book.
That's the point, that I think that listeners can understand more about your story from your book.
Yes, definitely. In short, I got in this business as a mortgage broker 2 years ago. December of 1998, as a 20-year-old, I walked into a mortgage company to sell them cell phones with AT&T, and the branch manager offered me a job. And I was really good at it. I was rookie of the year. I started selling home loans. Then September 11th happened, which was the birth of the fake housing market and fake economy built on nothing but a house of cards, where all you had to do is have a heartbeat to buy a house. So at the age of 26 in 2004, I made my first $1 million in a single year as a mortgage broker. And 3 years later, in 2007, I owned my own mortgage company, 20 mortgage offices throughout Southern California. You name it, I had it. Every toy you could possibly think of, fine art, fine watches, fine cars, homes in multiple states. And I lost everything in less than 18 months in the 2008-2009 crash. Went through a massive divorce, 19 foreclosures on my credit, went from an 812 FICO score to 496 in less than 9 months. Youngest son's diagnosed with autism. All of my cars are repossessed. I had to sell watches and paintings for 10 cents on the dollar just to figure out how to pay rent. I literally lost everything in the 08-09 crash because I was over leveraged on everything, and it was leverage based in a fake economy and housing market. So I had to reinvent myself. So long story short, after 18 months of trying to survive the mortgage industry and figure out what I was going to do and rebuild, because I didn't come from wealth. I didn't come from business savvy parents. Mom's a bookkeeper, dad's a landscaper. So I needed to figure out how to rebuild an empire again on my own. And I finally got so fed up with mortgage that I switched to the real estate agent side, October of 2009, because how hard could being a realtor really be? And that was a big reality check. I didn't realize how hard it was to be an agent and what was involved. But long story short, I accidentally started implementing things on social media and taking a completely different approach than what I saw everyone else doing. And I exploded. I got my first $5 million listing from a random woman that I'd added as a friend on Facebook. 3 weeks after adding her, she referred me her father's $5.8 million spec home listing, and the rest is history. I was Rookie of the Year that year with Coldwell Banker. That's the first company I'd gone with. In 2011, after exploding with huge listings, all being driven from social media, I started writing the first book, The Social Agent. The Social Agent became a bestseller in 2012, hopped around with a couple different companies. But then in the last few years, went out on my own, developed my own coaching program, write books. And my passion has always been, even though I still sell real estate, I love coaching and teaching people how to propel their business. And when people ask me, which is often, like, how did you rebuild everything you lost? You were literally only down for like 2 years, and there's people still down from that 08, 09 crash. I always say 2 words: online and marketing. I'm online and I know how to market myself. And when I say marketing, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not just talking about paid advertising. I'm talking about, do you even know how to market yourself to your community as a respectable business person, both online and offline, to even be worthy to ask a respectable business person if they know anybody looking to buy or sell a house? Do we even know how to market ourselves, not just our brand or our listings? And when you think about any multi-billion-dollar brand that exists today, they put those 2 things first. They're online and they know how to market their brand and themselves. So I just choose to do it for my small business. And then I have some clever techniques and secrets of a completely different approach to social media.
I guess you outline them in your book.
I do outline them in my book. Obviously, if my book had everything, it would be a bound volume of 12 volumes. You just
do you have
can't.
it handy?
You can't, yeah. You cannot have a book that teaches everything about social media, but you can see this one goes in depth. And, you know, this is the latest addition to the first one, Social Agent 2.0. It's on Amazon. You can find it, Kindle, wherever you look. And it goes into what I consider basic strategy and execution, but to a lot of people, if not 99.5% of most business people, they consider it extremely advanced and it's just over their head. But it's so basic because it doesn't even get into the advanced stuff. And that's what I try to tell people is, you know, just like an athlete needs a coach, it's just impossible to really do serious damage to your competition and have extraordinary results in life, both personal and business, without a coach. I couldn't even imagine my life without a coach. So
Yep,
a book can only do so much.
Yeah, and I experienced it on our preparation call where you literally told me, get your phone in your hands, let me see it. I grabbed my phone and you said, now go to your Instagram. I went to Instagram and I'm like, what are we going to do? Are we going like to post some pictures while we're on Zoom? And then you helped me to fix one big mistake there where I'm saying that I'm the CEO of Propy, and at the same time I tagged a wrong address. It's a small details that
she tagged the wrong user account, everybody. The user account didn't exist, and that's the CEO. And I told her this the other day, and then this morning I saw she still hadn't changed it. So when we had a conference call earlier, I said, get your phone, click edit profile, right at Propy, just so it was the right one. So it's little things like that that I can see from a mile away, and most people It doesn't come natural. And I don't understand why it comes natural to me, nor do I understand why I took the approach that I did to social media that still most people don't take. And they're all taking, there's two sides to social media. The tech side that everybody's focused on, tech. And that side will earn you ROI, but nobody's focused or teaching people how to focus on the other side to social media, which is the human side. And it's because they just don't understand the human approach to social media and not thinking of it as tech. And once you understand that and you develop some of these strategies I teach, you'll see results immediately.
Yeah, I want to dive into technology. Definitely you have the love for technology, and we talked in our preparation talk how the future of real estate will look like. We'll dive into that. But can you elaborate why nowadays it's not enough just to have a listing on MLS and just to have Zillow, Trulia, and we know that consumers love to get online on Zillow and Trulia just to check what's going on. But then when it comes to choose a buyer's agent or seller's agent, there are other ways. And in our company, we have a realtor that actually doubled her clientele also thanks to social media. She's very active. She's also talking a lot about how she has a different approach, how she's doing everything in a tech-driven way. So we see it with our eyes, like within 1 year, doubling the number of sales just because she chose a very, I think, the right approach to be active on social media. So what are we missing? Why broker owners and agents need to be very, I would say, respectful and not neglecting social media?
First and foremost, sales is a what game? Numbers. Real estate is a contact sport. The more contacts you have, the more business you get. It's that simple. Sales is a numbers game. The number one rule of creating business is you have to remind people you exist. And before social media, we had to pretty much do that shaking hands, face-to-face, out there, going to networking events, before the internet, all of that. And what did you do? You went to where you knew people were to then network. Where are people today? Online. To call social media tech is equal to you calling door knocking mechanical. Like, oh, I'm going door knocking, it's my mechanical lead gen. Why do you call door knocking mechanical? Because I have to get in my car, which is mechanical, to drive to that neighborhood. And then I get out of my car and I go and knock on doors, but I need my car in order to get there. Yeah, I get that. But once you get out of your car and you're just going door to door, it's not mechanical. Oh yeah, I guess you're right. See, I need technology to access social media. But once I'm in, it's not technology. It's just where human beings are today. And when you take the same approach that we took years ago, by knowing that now that I'm in front of people inside this social media platform, I now have to pretend that I just walked into the backyard at a barbecue and they're all standing on the grass. And I'd shake hands and I'd talk. And if somebody said something to me, I'd answer them. I wouldn't ignore them. I wouldn't say something and then let people say, wow, you're hilarious, and then ignore and not say thank you. Manners apply. I would find out more information about them. I'd get to know them. Ding, ding. That's what we have to be doing inside social media, but we can't do it to the same 400 friends of ours on Facebook or 600 followers on Instagram. What are you doing to increase your audience size by 10 new human beings a day online? Because if you're not increasing the audience size, you will not increase your business. And so a lot of people just don't understand this human approach. And forget door knocking. My goodness, I've been door clicking since 2009.
Door clicking, I love it.
I knock on the modern day front door. And guess what my front door says, ladies and gentlemen? It says 24 mutual friends, 7 similar interests. You both have a dog named Roxy and you both graduated USC. What does your front door say? What does your call list say? Because you're still a cold caller. Nothing comes close to the dominance and effectiveness of using social media for prospecting and building relationships. Nothing. I could do in 30 minutes on Facebook and Instagram what it would take anyone on this call a week to do cold calling and 3 weeks to do door knocking in 30 minutes. And I won't just have the person's email. I'll own them. I will know everything about this random stranger who I've added as a friend. But there's strategies behind everything. You can't just go in and start doing it and just adding random people. You have to engage them as if you're at that barbecue, if you're at dinner, and watch what happens. So the keys, I mean, this is so basic, but it's just, remember, sales is a numbers game, and we have to go where people are in order to remind people we exist.
Yeah, absolutely. And social media definitely played a huge role at Propy and in my life as well. This is where I met my fiance. This is where I met some of the key team members, and it helped me not only to understand their background, but first to connect, to find out. And even today, a number of employees that we're hiring, also the journey starts from LinkedIn or Facebook. So it definitely plays a huge role. And now during COVID-19, when we don't have conferences and events where we can meet people that we need in our network, definitely it's becoming more and more impactful avenue.
And that was another, it's good that you said that, because like now everybody's like you're hearing terms now starting to evolve, like social distancing lead gen, social distance prospecting. I've been social distancing lead gen, like I said, since 2009, definitely since 2010. And all of these coaches and experts who are now teaching people, oh, we teach social media lead generation. 99% of what I hear them teaching isn't even considered social media lead gen. They're just talking about how to engage and continue deepening relationships with the people you're already connected with online, and then sending them some stupid script as a private message asking for business, which now they consider you spam. That's not social distancing lead gen. Social distancing lead gen and using social media correctly is, what are you doing to engage new human beings and getting to know new people using social media to do it at your fingertips in your pajamas in your house. But as I said, there's strategies, but it's just, it's crazy what we can do and how quick we can do it online. And most of it is free.
Yeah, absolutely. And you understand this strategy, and that's the future of lead generation 10 years ago, right? And definitely you think strategically and early on how this new user behavior online is changing our lives. So we'll get into your views on technology impact on real estate transactions soon. But before that, one more question regarding social media. Could you give an advice, very short one, for broker owners, for startup owners like myself? We're very active on Facebook and social media, and we live with our companies, right? We have teams, we have customers, and very often we broadcast our life on Instagram, Facebook, even a little bit on LinkedIn. At the same time, we're working. Yes, our daily work is our life, but at the same time, we want to broadcast stuff for close friends and family. So where do you see this border, this line between personal life and when we need to find a new lead? For example, broker owners, sometimes they are posting a post when they're looking for new agents, when they're recruiting. So where is this line?
Gosh, your questions, it's like these answers would be an hour and a half long, right? For the individual agent, your personal friend page of Instagram and Facebook is for building relationships with people that ultimately will turn into referrals. For business pages of an individual agent of who you are as a realtor, it's for targeting and running ads to tell people about your brand and get them to come and follow your business pages. For a broker owner, office, branch manager, for the office or the small business that has agents working there, you have to make sure that your business pages have a marketing budget, that you're constantly promoting your page, that you're always helping the community first. So your content should be driven to the community, not happy birthday to Sally Smith, our realtor here in the office. That's not the place to do your happy birthdays. Your happy birthdays should be in your private group forum that your office has that nobody can have access to. Your business pages and posting content should always be community driven. Then your product or your service, and then maybe achievements and awards. But it should be community driven. In that community driven, news about the community, news about the city, your values, your vision, your mission statement as a company, core values can go into the community. Communities love that. Your product, your service, your pricing, why you're better, that needs to come second. And then definitely the happy birthdays and all of that stuff. It's just crazy. And I always tell people, this isn't me. I didn't come up with this. I do what's called follow the model. So if I, as a small business, have a business page on Facebook, then what I want to do is whatever a billion-dollar company does. So I'm going to search the Amazon Facebook business page, and I'm going to see what content Amazon posts on their Amazon business page. Or let's just say the big national brands, Remax, Coldwell Banker, Century 21, I'm going to Keller Williams, whoever. I'm going to go to the national real estate brands business page, their corporate one with the blue check mark. And I'm going to see what content they post. And guess what? Coldwell Banker's corporate Facebook business page of 90,000 followers is not saying happy birthday to Joshua in the mailroom. It's not the place for it. It's community based. So I'm going to do the same thing for my small business, and miraculously, look, it grows. So I would say that for broker owners, do that. For recruiting, I wouldn't be using my business pages for recruiting. I would be going into my recruiting techniques and using my personal pages to deepen relationships with agents that I'm trying to recruit locally. And I have a whole nother coaching curriculum called the Social Leader that goes into those techniques as well.
I understand. Thank you. Now back to the question on transactions and how you see the future. As you have identified that social media will be the future 10 years ago. Now, what do you see new to come to the real estate industry in the next 10 years?
Well, you know, social media, when you really think about social media, the only thing, like if you went back in time and you tried to tell somebody in the 60s or 70s what social media was, they would think you were insane and like from another universe. Like, so in the future, you're going to have a digital twin, and the twin is going to be in space, and you'll go into these devices that have a screen, and you'll be able to access your digital twin who people know that you've never met, and people will talk to them inside this thing called the internet. Like, they'd be like, what are you talking about, right? Well, the only thing I could say is that to even fathom where social media is going to go, I can only imagine it's going to go to, it's going to go to where we actually have digital, like, augmentation of our actual self, or somebody's going to be looking at their device and their device is going to pop up my face, and they're going to be talking to my Facebook or Instagram profile as if they're talking to me, and my Instagram will talk back.
This is how you envision the future of open houses?
Yeah, the future of open houses, the future of everything. So first, I don't think social media is going to go away. I think it's going to evolve into more of an artificial intelligence platform. Second, everything about real estate will be digitized. There's no question. I think it's going to happen in 5 years, but a lot of other people say 5 to 10 years. At the rate we're going with technology, I just don't see how it would happen past 5 years from now, which means from start to finish, you will have transactions being closed where they never even shook hands with the real estate agent. They never even, everything was done digitally. Blockchain will have a huge part in the data keeping and record keeping of the real estate industry. Blockchain technology, for those that don't know what it is, it comes from the cryptocurrency world, which I'm also an expert, like I do interviews on CNBC about crypto, but blockchain has left crypto. It's not just in cryptocurrency anymore. Blockchain and the technology, blockchain is the most advanced technology on the face of planet Earth. Nothing even comes close to it. Forget the cloud and security clouds that hold your information, like nothing comes close to it. So you have governments, organizations already changing their record filing and data keeping over to blockchain platform. So when that happens, companies that integrate blockchain like a Propy and all these different firms that are making it easy, it'll all be digitized. Commissions will shrink in the real estate industry.
That's actually something that I wanted to discuss with you. When you're saying that everything would be digitized, the transactions, and this is our mission, transactions will be done entirely online, of course in shorter time, but also securely. Then in social media, as Gina Land is here on the chat road, we can finally be in two places at once. When all this happened,
I hope when she says finally, she means 2009. Because everybody's making it seem like it's finally here. Good grief, it's been here for a decade, and I've been crushing it with that digital twin. My digital twin knows thousands more people than I do, and those people have given him their business, having never met the real one. This has been going on for so long.
Yeah, exactly. But it will be even further improved in terms of experiences, how we see others' emotions live. Having said that, with all this technology that will provoke change, will the role of realtor shrink, change? Will the realtor be disrupted? What's your opinion?
The role of the real estate agent has already evolved in the last 30 years, multiple times. We continue getting shrunk in the sense of what we have to do. But on the liability side, it's increasing. So it's almost like we've been transitioning from realtor, who's a salesperson, who could sell a car, sell insurance, sell a house. And over the last 10 to 15 years, it's that we're becoming more of advisors, consultants, protectors, and almost attorneys in some states, protecting them with the right disclosures. So if our role is getting less day-to-day beating the pavement, and our role is becoming more and more overseers of documentation and data, then what happens is, if technology, and it's already starting to happen, if a buyer and a seller, and this already happens, find each other online because of access to information and things like Zillow, which are never going to go anywhere, by the way. So get that out of your head right now. There is no such thing as a Zillow killer for some of you from that brand who think that that's possible. So what's going to happen is, if the buyer and seller find each other online, they come to terms on a price, and then they just need somebody to oversee the transaction and make sure that the right disclosures were placed. And that person is a highly educated real estate agent and consultant who protects them with those right disclosures. And they only have to pay that person 1.5% or 2% for the entire transaction. And I did it from my computer, and maybe some inspection stuff as it continues to evolve in the next 10 to 15 years. Oh my God, where do I sign up for that? I would rather have 20 transactions at 2% where I'm just overseeing the documentation and the transaction as the qualified advisor than 6 at 6% where I'm doing open houses, all of the marketing, showing the property, hoping that they write an offer. Are you kidding me? But that's not how agents are. Agents are scared of that because they don't understand. Wait a second, think about what that would mean. And the big brokerages don't want their agents thinking that's okay, because they're based on brick and mortar models that we already know, just based on pandemics, aren't in good situations right now with their 5 to 10 year net leases still on their brick and mortar that none of their agents ever even use. We have been going digital for 10 years. And for those that think that this is going to change back to the old days, it's crazy. And for real estate companies who think their technology, quote unquote, that they call, is some Zillow killer or advanced technology the world has ever seen, it's insanity to me. It's just crazy to even think about. So the consumer will always choose to do what other people do. And I'll leave you with this. Do not forget, if you don't know this fact, that the owner and founder of Expedia, who used to work for Bill Gates at Microsoft in 1995 as one of Bill's executives, that guy's name is Rich. And in 1996, he decided to launch a website called Expedia. And within just a handful of years, completely changed the travel industry forever and wiped out 90% of travel agents on the face of planet Earth. So then a few more years went by, and he decided to hop on the board of directors and do the same thing to the video rental industry. So Rich hops on the board of directors of Netflix. You guessed right. And what do you think he did in a handful of years then? Took down the entire multi-billion-dollar brick and mortar video rental industry. And as giants rose up to try to beat him at Expedia, what do you think he did? He bought them. Expedia owns Travelocity. Expedia owns Orbitz. Expedia owns Trivago. Because I'll just buy you if you threaten me, or if you have better technology than me, or I'll crush you like the little peasant you are, because they're the first and they're the big one. Well, guess what? Rich also was the owner and founder of Zillow. Let that sink in for a second, ladies and gentlemen. He's already done it to 2 multi-billion-dollar industries. He can't fail. He won't fail. The guy's smart. He knows what he's doing, and he's already changed our real estate industry forever. And until the owner of your national brand company is willing to pay $100 million for a Super Bowl commercial to even allow 50 million consumers to know you have some crazy technology, no one will know it exists. So who cares?
Interesting. Yeah. And how about the current market situation? What do you think, whether we're expecting a market crash in our industry?
When this pandemic occurred, I always tell people, good grief, people from the Spanish influenza must be looking down at us from heaven saying, oh my God, you guys don't even know what a pandemic is. The Spanish influenza in 1918, before there was even air travel, and there was only 2.8 billion people on the face of planet Earth, still killed 400 million people in 12 months. Like, it's just crazy to think that this pandemic was worthy of economic collapse. But let's go back to the market. I didn't think this pandemic was going to cause anything to happen to the residential market. I think it's going to crash or make a significant shift and correction to the commercial industry, which was already, like what we said, brick and mortar. I haven't sat in my real estate office to meet with a client since 2009. I had a cubicle for 3 months before I realized, why do I even come to the office? Everything is mobile today. DocuSign. So how they even have leases and why they even need leases, it's beyond me. But going back to residential, I think residential could end up with seeing some type of a price correction or a slowdown, but it already had started in 2018 with a lot of different markets across the United States. If you look at the housing since 2010, it was up, and then in 2018, it flattened. And it stayed that flat in 2019, and then the pandemic hit, and I actually think it's because we already shifted. Forget crash. Crashes don't exist. That was 08, 09. But a shift throughout history has always been this bloop, 1960, 1972, bloop, 1981. Bloop.
So you think that all this unemployment impact will actually not arrive to the real estate market?
I think because people now are going to be working from home, which is going to cause commercial to have a significant evolution and shift. is because the people who did lose their jobs, who can't keep their homes, there's someone, if not 5 people, who now need a better house from working from home. We have clients in LA calling us saying, I hate my house. If I'm gonna go through this again, if this is the new norm, if we're gonna have another pandemic in 3 years where stay-at-home orders just become a new way of life, my kids hate my house, I'm borderline hating my children. My husband, and I don't get along. Our house is too small. I want a swimming pool. I want a backyard. I want a double office in my house that is away from everyone in my house, so I'm not distracted because my company said I can work from home now. So there's this new evolution, and I think that it's only going to flatten. I just don't see a residential housing crash, not especially if interest rates stay at 2.9. My goodness, it's crazy. So I think that 2020 is going to continue seeing somewhat of a strong residential market, and commercial is going to start seeing a big shift.
Okay, fantastic. We'll have a final question from me to Tony. Meanwhile, everyone who is here on the Zoom, please ask your questions if you have any here on the chat or on the Q&A part. And Tony, what are the 3 tips you want to give to our guest today?
The 3 tips. First, let me conclude with, I'll just direct you guys on where to find information on me. But the 3 tips that I could give you before that would be, number 1, you have to be increasing your audience size every day by at least 10 people a day. I tell my coaching clients 20, but I'm just going to leave you all with 10. And it's combined, meaning you added 3 new connections on LinkedIn, not realtors. Those don't count. You added 3 new connections on LinkedIn. You added 5 new friends on Facebook. You got 3 new people to follow you on Instagram. You added those 3 people that you got from Zillow leads to your CRM, meaning your overall audience grows in size online every day by at least 10 new human beings a day. Watch what happens. Second, that's 300 a month. Second, if social media and growing our audience is number 1, then what form of communication do we need to be using inside social media? Video. You have got to get in the habit of video marketing. You have got to do live streams. You have got to share stories. You have to be shooting videos of who you are as an agent. Testimonials of your clients need to be videos. Anything you can do to press record and start doing, get in the habit of doing it now. Buy a ring light for your office so you look better and the light's shining at you. Buy mobile ring lights. Just really start integrating video at a high level, or no one's going to see anything you're posting in the near future. And then number 3, hold yourself accountable. And if you're not good at it, you should hire a coach. Hint, hint.
Yeah, we're actually looking forward to working with you on that aspect. And I totally see the impact even just from 2 small calls. So definitely Tony has a vast knowledge in all aspects of our industry. From
and I'll share with everybody just a couple things. This is it. Just let me know you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can.
So if everybody just wants to stay connected with me, then here's how to stay connected with me is Instagram, pretty easy, Tony_Giordano right there. That's my personal page, but then you can see that you can easily find all of my other business pages and everything else that I do. So Tony_Giordano, Instagram, follow me, stay connected with me. I'd love to stay connected with you. Facebook, that's my friend page. There's 2 Tony Giordanos. So make sure you choose the one that has that profile picture with me and my wife with my tuxedo on. Otherwise, you'll follow the wrong Tony Giordano friend page. My business page is just Tony Giordano on Facebook. You'll see it right there. It'll be that picture with the iPad. And if you do have questions and you want more information about coaching, go to risemastery.com. I have one-on-one coaching and I have group coaching, but group coaching is a lot less expensive for agents to have 2 live trainings with me every month. versus having to pay, one-on-one coaching, which sometimes can get pricey with coaching companies. But I launched the group program to keep that cost down, and thought I'd run a special for today for everybody. So if you go to that risemastery.com and you click group, you're going to see a big discount for signing up to the program. Besides that, my book is The Social Agent 2.0 on Amazon. So you can always grab the book. That's the latest edition right there.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony, so much. It was very valuable. I hope for you guys who are watching that, technology is definitely impacting all the aspects of our business and life. Definitely for social media, Tony is one of the best experts in the country. As for the transaction automation, obviously check out on propy.com. Today we won't have time for the demo, but make sure you join our webinar next week, and I will share with you the topics that we have discussed before. Before we get there, very briefly, once again, during COVID-19, the main things for agents to thrive are social media presence, virtual tours, and what we offer here at Propy, online offers, so that the sellers can instantly receive offers on the properties.
I know your offer management is so convenient. Like, I mean, hats off to you for what you've done, because my clients love it, and it's just very, very smart on your part. And then I use literally all of these. It's Box Brownie, not Brownie Box, just for those that want to make sure that they go to the right one. It's Box Brownie.
Box Brownie, yeah.
But they're amazing. And for those that don't realize, because a lot of agents don't know this, quick thing is Home Depot, which is national. Home Depot for like $100 in less than 24 hours sends somebody out to any client of yours house to draw up the floor plans, because so that you don't have to. So for $100, you can have professional floor plan drawn out of your listing, send it to Box Brownie, and now it's much better for Box Brownie to do their thing. It's really cool that Home Depot offers that. So
interesting. We didn't know that. So we can add this to the slide. So these are some of the tools that we gathered from our guests on webinars. Few are also part of the NAR Reach program that Propy got through last year. So definitely on social media, few tools that you can use alongside coaching from Tony. CRMs are really important. I think, Tony, you mentioned a couple of times that you're building relationships, but it's really important to get the contacts into a CRM. And then obviously the virtual tours, virtual staging, the transaction itself, we take care of it at Propy. And then post-transaction is also very important, how to keep the relationship when the transaction is done. And very briefly on the webinars that we had before, we have amazing, outstanding real estate leaders that we had discussions with. The majority of them were on how to deal with all the changes that we're experiencing today, as well as a number of discussions on technology and on the tools. We did some little demos on how to use e-notarization, how to use some of the tools in virtual tours, besides those that are known, like a Matterport. So make sure you check these recordings on our page on Facebook and LinkedIn, and you can get to YouTube and see the recordings of all the webinars we did so far. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Tony. And yeah, that was a very, very interesting discussion.
Bye-bye, everybody.